right from the time when the paper was invented, the writing or the scripting has happened, or even before the stone edits and other things, which were actually like the people recording something. So history shows that there was so much of attempts made by a lot of people, our ancestors, and later on the kings who constructed the temples, who constructed monuments. Human beings had the habit of recording things and writing down things to pass on the information to the next generation. That way, if you see, initially it only started with notes and checklists. At least if we talk about the paper generation, there were the notes, there were the checklists, there were the diaries, journals. People were writing, recording their ideas. Next came the calendars and appointment books, not just calendars to check the date, but also the calendars where we actually write what are all the appointments mentioned on that particular day. So we had telephones and people were manually taking appointments. There used to be secretaries, even today we have secretaries, but you need to call someone to take an appointment. Now, a lot of those things happen automatically because we have got a lot of tools like our email, like Outlook. Even if you use the mobile phone, you have Gmail, calendar. There are some note-taking apps like OneNote, then Google Keep, Google Notes, similar apps on iPhone. And then you also have got how to make the appointments, how to convert whatever random notes you take into an activity. So the technology is also helping to make your simply written notes into some kind of appointment, some kind of useful information on which you can take action. You can set reminders. So a lot of things have come. We have evolved from the time of writing on the stones to the time of writing on maybe on the leaves, on some Talapatra Granthas, we can say in ancient India. Then we transition to the paper. Then from paper, we have come to the printed versions, now into the computers and whatsoever. Thing is like, it's in the human mind and the human psychology that we need to record the things for many purposes. One is to keep ourselves motivated, informed, and not to forget things. And the second thing is to keep our future generations also aware of what has happened in the past, historically. But there was a problem with generation 1, where only all the things were limited only to notes and checklists. This was even before Industrial Revolution. Then came the idea of calendars and appointment books. Then in the third generation, we have got some prioritization added to these events. So people are able to understand what kind of priority I need to do, where shall I focus. When it exactly matched the Industrial Revolution, when machines were doing most of the jobs, people were reduced just to the resource level. They were just considered as one among the machines. So machines were taking more value because they were actually producing. You just imagine, in the olden days, even the word manufacture comes from two Latin words, manus and factus. Manus means hand. La mano in Italian also is the same as hand. Factus means to make. That means manufacture, as the word in the past was meant to be explaining that things are made out of hand. So just imagine, in the olden days, why people were more considered as a resource, but during the Industrial Revolution time, people were not anymore considered as a resource, but just as a cost, and more machines were used, and people were just overloaded with tasks and responsibilities. You imagine when the things were all done without machines. For example, if there is a tailor who needs to sew the clothes, there is a cook who needs to prepare everything without using a machine. You have to crush few things, grind few things manually, do something. Skills were more important because when you have to do a sculpture, the people need to have that particular skill. Simply anyone else cannot do the sculpturing activity. Similarly, anyone cannot become a good tailor. So you need to have all these things. Even in the industry, if you see, on a piece of paper or a big chart, if one person has to make some engineering drawing for construction of a building or a foundation, it needed some skill. You need to draw maybe with some hand operated tools, but you need to use some free form drawing. So there was a time when the machines were not doing the job of the humans, and humans were supposed to do a lot of things out of their skill. But over time, what has happened? The machines started replacing some of the activities done by the humans, and humans were put at the back end, and all the machines were occupying the space in this third generation time management. When the Industrial Revolution gave rise to so many number of machines, lot of things got automated. And eventually what has happened? The people started losing out their value. There was exploitation of labor. Lot of other things, socio-economic changes have happened, which also led to some kind of problems in the society. But over time, fortunately, the knowledge revolution has come. The IT industry has come, where the machines themselves were not so important, but the knowledge is more important, has become more important. Now, machine alone will not do all the things. We again came back to the somewhat better situation today, saying that this is more important than just operating the machine. So we can even make the machines more flexible. We can add artificial intelligence, but in doing so, we also made life complicated. We also made humans again irrelevant, because all this innovation, all these new generation tools cannot be simply made better and better without the involvement of human beings. A machine made in industrial revolution age will still do the same thing, but the equipment we are designing today, for example, the mobile phones, even just 15 years ago, they were feature phones. Once made, they remain like this till the end of their lifetime. But today, the smartphones what we are using, they have got changes. They are getting updates. The device is the same physically, but internally the things are changing. So this knowledge revolution also led to many great leaps into the human comfort and the technology advancements. But at the same time, it also made the life more complicated. Now in this generation, we are not just competing with other people, but we are also competing with machines and the artificial intelligence along with us. So when not only humans exist today, there are machines, there are artificial intelligence, and there are too many things to do. How can we plan our life then? So you cannot say, I don't need these things, because we made our society in such a way that you are unable to live without all these things. But at the same time, we as human beings, we also have got our value. But the problem comes when we don't know how to manage these things. Means you don't know how to keep your production levels up, and you don't know how to keep your production capability balanced. So the moment you know how to balance these two, even in this current generation, we will not have any issues. For that purpose, we are going to address this particular point of time management in the right perspective, which is again based on principles, which is again based on the leadership mindset, which actually is focused few versus insignificant many. You need to focus only on those few important things, be it personal life, be it the professional life, be it your profession, be it your goals, ambitions, mission, whatever. Focus on the few important ones and discard all the insignificant many which are not helping you any further. With this background, let us move on, learn more. What is the time management matrix? What are all the quadrants? Basically, the quadrants are arranged in the form of this matrix you are seeing, where on one side you have got urgent things, on the other side you have got not urgent things. If you see in the form of rows, you see that the important things are on the top row and the unimportant things are on the bottom row. Now, if you mesh both of them in this matrix, you can see that quadrant 1 is that which with all urgent and important activities which cannot be avoided by anyone, even a leader or a manager or a stupid. If there are quadrant 1 activities, everyone must do them. Then comes the quadrant 2 activities where they are still important, but they are not urgent. We have to plan them in advance. You are spending the time in quadrant 2. You are focusing more on your vision. You are focusing more on your mission, focusing more on relationship building, managing people, even also achieving your results without any pressure or stress in your mind. But quadrant 1 is not like that. Sometimes the external factors, sometimes the people around you, sometimes the situation will make you work in quadrant 1. That's not wrong. But then quadrant 3, quadrant 4, dangerous ones, because they are unimportant. They are unimportant, but you get interrupted. You get phone calls. For example, if something happens to someone in your family, you need to take them to hospital, or someone falls sick, you need to go. In something happens in your office, you need to listen to the management. Even if you don't like to do them, you need to do. So those are quadrant 3 activities. Even though they are not important, sometimes they become urgent. So some part of the time will be lost. Nobody can entirely avoid quadrant 3. Then there is quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 where all the useless people would be spending their time. So with this basic understanding of what these 4 quadrants mean, let us go a little bit further into understanding what quadrant 1 does to you, what quadrant 2 does to you, 3 and 4 do to you. But before we go, just have a look once again. These quadrants are basically of 2 categories, isn't it? 2 quadrants which are of urgent issues, 2 quadrants which are of important issues. So if you see vertically, urgent issues. If you see horizontally, important issues. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video.